Stu, I just want to give you this and tell me how you get here.
Mm-hmm.
New York Times. Mexican drug cartels are responsible for the untimely deaths of hundreds of thousands of people over the past 2 decades. When factoring in the fentanyl they smuggle into the United States, cartels are also culpable for the deaths of over 200 Americans every day. They deal with murder and addiction, mass kidnappings, rape, torture, political intimidation, yada, yada. But the New York Times has a concern about the economic impact of Trump's plan to identify and hold the cartels responsible.
Oh, no.
Now, I'm trying to think about the positive impact the New York Times might have found with the cartels. I mean, job creators?
I guess.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You got that. You got...
They're kind of in the medical business, kind of. I mean...
The medical, okay.
Well, they're kind of pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
Yeah,
I mean, you could treat certain ailments with their products.
They're into the entertainment business.
Yes.
Adult entertainment or child entertainment, for adults.
How you want to be entertained.
Sure.
I mean, would we get any good movies or music if there were no drugs in this country? Probably not.
No.
That's going to be
Hollywood would change.
Is in trouble.
Would change. Yeah.
Are they trying to say basically these cartels are used as coyotes essentially, and the people who are coming in for free or cheap labor won't be coming in anymore. Mm-hmm. That hurts our economy. I mean, again, I don't think that's a good argument, but is that what they're trying to get to?
So what they're saying is that this is going to be hard on the banks. Going to be hard on the banks.
Why would cartels going away be hard on banks?
Well, because the banks are going to be responsible for knowing if your client is a part of a drug cartel, and
Okay. So what additional? I mean, is this going to cause additional layers of paperwork for everybody? Essentially,
I don't know. I guess,
and not just cartels, but are your friendly neighborhood drug dealer?
I think. I mean, if you're in that business, you probably aren't using a bank. You know what I mean? Now, if you're a cartel, you want to use the banks. But I mean, if you're coming in, every year with $1.5 billion. Or, even have holdings of $1 trillion, I might want to ask, how are you doing that? I'm in the import-export business. I'd like a little bit more. You also put down here you're in the entertainment industry and pharmaceuticals, but I haven't seen anything on the shelves from you.
Now, Elizabeth Warren has reliably told me that criminals only use cryptocurrency. So maybe why would they need the banks?
Yeah,
I don't understand. Why would it affect the banks in any way?
I don't know. But I just, as I said yesterday, if I were an entrepreneur and I were in Mexico, I might start coffins.com. Because I think there's going to be a run on coffins. And, as long as Gavin Newsom isn't there, he's not going to put there's a coffin shortage, so, let's not raise the price of coffins. He's not going to do that. You can price on demand, I'm guessing, in Mexico. So when there's a rush for coffins because, I don't know, our special forces have killed all of the people in the drug cartels, you can make some money.
What's your impression on what Trump actually does here? We talked a little bit about this yesterday, but what's the specific plan? I know you don't, you're not going to reveal anything, but because
I don't.
You have thoughts and impressions. Let's say.
Yeah.
So
thoughts and impressions.
When basing this completely on your thoughts and impressions.
Yes, and not anything else.
What would Trump? What would be the approach here to take out the cartels in Mexico?
He would assign people to make a list of who those terrorists are.
Will they be checking it twice?
They'll check it twice.
Okay, will they find out who's naughty or nice?
Yeah, that's what they're looking for right now. Mm-hmm. And then they'll give it to the president, and they'll say, here's the case against these guys and this cartel and many other cartels. And the president will say, what do you recommend? And they'll say, we go in at night with our, night vision, and we kill them all. And he says, okay. And so then we go in at night and we kill them all. And in the morning, everybody wakes up surprised because they're dead.
I was going to say, do they
Call
wake up?
coffins.com.
Okay. And just leaves like a rotating, just a repeating ad on the television for coffins.com.
Coffins.com. Mm-hmm. Are you a member of the cartel? You might consider becoming a franchisee owner of coffins.com. Yeah, I think that's what he's going to do.
No.
He's not going to play around. You are going to see death and destruction of these cartels. And I'd be shocked to find out if that was our special forces doing that. Gosh darn it.
That would be shocking.
A shocking thing.
So it's essentially an undercover plan where you're sending in undercover people.
I'm not sure how he's going to do it, if it's going to be undercover or if it will be on, it might be like Survivor, except it's a real kind of situation. This week on Survivor, who's going to survive in this cartel?
Do you have do you have some sort of arrangement with the Mexican government on this? Like, do you say to them, look, we're coming in, whether you like it or not?
He already did.
He said that. Uh-huh. But I mean, there's a certain level of Donald Trump saying things in a negotiation.
I don't think there. Like yesterday, yesterday at the WEF, they asked the president of Panama, are you worried about the president just taking the Panama Canal? And he said, get serious. Yeah. Get serious. Mm-hmm. Please get serious. I don't know. I think Donald Trump might be serious about that one. Not about Greenland. He's never said he's going to just go take Greenland or Canada, even though the Canada one would be easy. He's not doing that. But he is very clear. I am going to kill the cartels because they're terrorist operations and they're operating here in the United States and causing a lot of pain and suffering. And so I'm going to kill them all.
I mean, he's designated them terrorist groups, right? Mm-hmm. And we know what has happened with, Al Qaeda or whatever. When he designated a terrorist group, it gives us what we consider, and other countries don't consider the legal authority to go in and do these types of things.
Because Mexico no longer has the legal authority to do anything because they're run by the cartels. So you're going to see a lot of feigned outrage at the beginning until he gets rid of these cartels, and then they're going to go, thank you.
Well, that's what I wonder, because we've had this relationship with certain other countries where we've gone to them and said, hey, we're doing this whether you like it or not. And some of them are angry and outraged, but a lot of them are like, oh no, you shouldn't. Okay, just if you need to know where they are, let me know. Right? Like they would love to get rid of this problem. I think, and it's depending on who you're talking about in the Mexican government, you like to get rid of this because they're challenging your power, essentially.
The people will be very happy. People in Mexico will be very, very happy.
Right.
So it's not going to be real unpopular in Mexico with the average everyday people.
But what would be unpopular, right? Like, let's just say we had a problem with, cartels in our country, and the Mexican government was upset with the reverse situation happening. They're crossing the border. They're doing all these terrible things. They sent in their special forces into our country without our approval. We're a sovereign nation, right? We would be upset about that.
We would be upset.
Now, we're the big boys on the street, so we don't have to care necessarily about that. But
let's actually flip that. Okay, let's say we were in the situation that Mexico's in, where we try to vote mayors in, we try to vote governors in, and they're just slaughtered in the streets because they say I'm taking on the cartels, and they slaughter everyone in government that is even whispering about that.
Yeah.
So we've tried to vote them out. And we as people know that our government is now in bed with the cartels, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. And Mexico says, you know what? Enough of these cartels. They are hurting our people. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to come across the border and we're going to take care of them because you won't. Would you really be upset? My gosh, they're violating our borders. I would be all for it quietly.
Right. That's the part I think is interesting.
Yes.
I think if I were the president of the United States and in this situation, and the president of Mexico says, we've got these great special forces, we're coming in and taking them out, whether you like it or not, I think that's what I would say. I would say, well, because I think as a country, you can't just give your nation to the other nation, right? Like if we have the authority to cross the border and they just are like, yeah, please, anytime you can come over and police in our country, please do so, then they're not a sovereign nation.
Yeah, well,
However,
we're not policing.
Right. Well, kind of we are. I mean,
no, not
it's
really.
just a very aggressive
this
form
is
of
an
it.
international terrorist group
Right.
that is crossing our borders and
It's
causing...
it's still a form of law enforcement. I mean, we are...
Yeah, it is.
But you would maybe say, well, we would never allow that, but you'd want it to occur.
Yes.
And you'd encourage it and you'd assist in any way possible. Yes. I'm
and
curious if Mexico would do that.
You would take note of everyone in the federal government and your local government
who opposed it,
strongly and meant it. You would be like, okay, they're part of it. I got
part of it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd probably be right.
Yeah.
So I hope that's what Mexico does. I just don't know with this, especially this woman who's trying to get into like little fight, peeing contests with Donald Trump over these types of things. I don't think that's a good approach.
No, this isn't a little peeing thing.
But I'm saying that's what she's doing. Yeah. She's publicly coming out. Oh yeah, well if you're going to rename it Gulf of America, we're going to look at this region. This is actually ours, or whatever she's trying to pull.
We're going to stop sending you sombreros. Okay, whatever.
There was the sombrero threat. I don't know.
I don't know if that's really that.
But I mean, like that was
damaging.
What she was doing. Essentially, she was acting like a guest on The View.
Yeah.
Right? Like, well, I'm a strong woman, and look at me. I'm going to rename your place. Stop it. Like that nonsense.
Right.
If that's what she decides to be,
that's fine.
She probably won't do it this way. She'll probably complain about it, and that's going to be...
And if she is corrupt and in bed with the cartels, the people of Mexico will decide that after all of the pressure is off because we've killed the cartels.
I hope that...
I just think there is... I mean, they're going to try to cause problems in here, but I have to tell you, you have no idea what you're up against with the United States military, our special forces. You have no idea. Oh, these are highly trained. Are they? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm going to put my money on the U.S. Special Forces. That's what I'm going to do. And I don't think they're going to win in that fight.
And let me ask you this, a related question. We've complained a lot about, DEI in the military, that the military's gone soft, that we've had all these problems. Pete Hegseth wrote a book about it. He's the central part of why he's going into this role. Are we too far gone? Is it possible that we don't have enough of what we need in the military to accomplish these tasks anymore?
For Mexico, no.
We're okay.
No. For multiple fronts, yes. For our special forces, our teams to go in the dead of night and kill all these people, no. That's not beyond
We're still
our reach.
prepared for that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Good to hear.